What's up, everybody? It's Jared with Capture the Magic, and one of the fun things to do, at least in my opinion, when you're looking at theme parks and talking about them, is speculating on things that may come to the parks. Now, that obviously doesn't mean that it is going to happen for sure, and many times these are just fun exercises to do, but I did find a new ride system from Mac that also has been rumored to potentially coming to Epic Universe. So in this video, we're going to look at what this ride system is and how it might fit into Epic Universe, and if we can expect to see this in the near future here. And this ride system is talked about here from Attractions Magazine, which I have talked about a few times on some live streams and mentioned it in some other videos, but I thought it was worth having a dedicated video to go over what this is. So this is a new Mac ride system that is a new rocking boat ride. This is currently at Future Scope, and I believe that's in France. And we can we'll take a look at some POV footage of this and see where it could potentially fit into Epic Universe. So basically the way it works is it's a water ride, but you're essentially always on on a track. And when it goes into the water, and so it floats, goes back on the track. It never actually leaves the track, but you get the feeling that you're in water and going through like whitewater rapids, kind of. Like, it's a very unique ride system here. So it says a refreshing prototype from Mac Rides. So again, this is in Future Scope right now. It strikes again with its new Mission Bermudez attraction, proving itself as a leader in innovative experiences worldwide. This is a hybrid water ride using the new rocking boat ride system developed by Mac Rides. The ride system is a clever variation of the already famous water coaster type from Mac Rides. This time, the boat itself isn't directly on the track. It is attached to a chassis instead via a jointed framework. The boat can have a variety of movements like swaying, floating, accelerating, and going backwards, as well as taking sharp turns both on the ground, in the water, and even in the air if we consider the ride's elevator moment. So basically, see here, it stays on the track, it elevates, so it's like you're floating, but you're still connected to the track. So it's very, I mean, obviously there's been other ride systems similar to this that have been in and out of water, but I feel like this one is a very unique one. It says the ride system is also rumored for future use in a potential Creature from the Black Lagoon attraction at Epic Universe. We do know that there have plans for expansions, as this is before Epic Universe opened, but the head creative director of Dark Universe, who is Pete Carcillo, I believe how you say his name, he did tease some things, that possible new stories that could be told within the Land of Darkmoor. He says you go into the Burning Blade Tavern, you'll see new monsters in there. You'll see hints of new stories everywhere. That's what we're hoping for, is that what we can keep expanding the classic Universal monster stories in that way. So it's been talked about before, the park wasn't even open, and Universal Creative is already thinking of possible stories they can tell beyond what's already there. And a lot of people have talked about Creature from the Black Lagoon. Does make a lot of sense, because I think one thing you can also argue is Epic Universe does need, obviously, A, they need more attractions, but B, an actual like water ride is something this park could use that's outside of what Fire Drill currently is. And this obviously would satisfy that. And I think implementing this into a Creature from the Black Lagoon storyline would be very interesting for a ride here. So a little bit more about this ride. This is from Coaster 101. It says here that is, as seen in the patent, the Mac Rides rocking boat design uses a flexible connection system between the floating boat and an undercarriage chassis. Think of the boat riding loosely above a coaster-style track, connected by pivoting arms that let it sway and rock naturally in the water, but still follows the guide rail underneath. So it seems like it's a cool mix of you're on it, you're on it basically almost like a roller coaster. You're going to the water, and it does feel like you're free floating, even though you're actually not. You're still attached to that, but you have the sensation that you're just in the water. The coaster track runs the entire length of the ride. This means you can control the location of the boat at all times, and the boat cannot capsize due to the connection to the chassis. Another good feature there. A drive system uses propel the coaster chassis along the track, and the drive system allows for forwards and backwards movement, and the track switches allow the boat to change directions as well. The track can be completely hidden from view when submerged underwater, making the ride's layout unpredictable for passengers. So that's another thing, is you wouldn't necessarily know exactly where you're going. If you look at the videos on this, the water gets churned up, you see, and you're not able to really see the track very well. And really, when you're on the ride, you probably wouldn't be able to see that either. They say here again, this ride system seems like it is tailor-made to fit a ride at Universal, such as Creature from the Black Lagoon in Dark Universe, or a reincarnation of the Jaws ride. That is another thing that could happen. And I've talked about this before, of there's rumors out there that the Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster that is going to be replacing that could be themed after Ghostbusters. And I've often talked about that Universal, if any theme park company were to do this, I think it'd be Universal, is to start having these retro attractions come back, at least to the studio side, as we have seen. Back to the Future obviously has a lot of popularity still to this day, but they're using Back to the Future in the UK park that they're building. I think Universal will likely bring in some of these retro attractions to the studio side. I think it will make a lot of sense and fit into the theme of that, and really I think the fan base would want that. And I think if you did announce a Jaws attraction coming back and use this ride system, I think it would be a massive hit. So whether or not this is Creature from the Black Lagoon or it's Jaws, either one I think would be great. I mean, I think both of them would fit almost perfectly with that. In terms of what would be more popular, that's a really good question. I almost think a Jaws comeback would be something that the fan base would really enjoy. But if you're looking at needing to expand Epic Universe, obviously need more attractions in there, it would make sense that the Creature from the Black Lagoon would be this. But if they were going to do both of these, I don't know if you'd use the same ride system for both. I mean, they have done this before. You look at Forbidden Journey, that's a Kuka arm-based ride system, as well as Monsters Unchained. So we do know Universal will use the same ride system on multiple different attractions. So it's possible you could see them do this for both Creature from the Black Lagoon and if they wanted to bring back Jaws, which again, I haven't heard anything as that's something they're going to do. But I do have this feeling that if they did that along with, say, Back to the Future and Ghostbusters potentially, that would be a massive hit with the fan base at Studios side. And I think it'd be a very unique way to expand and increase the offerings at Universal Studios Florida to include these retro properties that people still love. I mean, they're celebrating Jaws' 50th anniversary right now in the parks. Obviously, still has a lot of fan base for Back to the Future, Jaws, Ghostbusters, and some of these retro attractions. I think would be a pretty big hit here. And we can take a look right here as to what this ride system looks like. I mean, I'm watching this and I can completely see a scenario where you have the Creature from the Black Lagoon, almost, kind of similar to maybe how Jaws was. He's always around, popping up, story going on. Like, I think that would fit perfect for what they'd want to do. Now, I think the one thing that you would have against it as this ride currently stands is I don't think Epic needs another outdoor attraction, at least at this moment. Feasibly, though, you potentially could do this in an indoor type of attraction. You could have this as an indoor coaster that also has a water, feature with it. It'd be a big show building, but you could do that. Now, I don't think Dark Universe is going to be the first land that gets an expansion. From everything I have heard, Super Nintendo World is going to be the one that gets the first expansion. And I did have somebody tell me the other day that essentially internally at Universal, it looks like Zelda has been chosen. Now, I don't know if that's for certain, but I was told that there's been some internal discussions, and it looks like Luigi's Mansion may not be happening at this moment. Not that it will never happen, but it's been sort of shelved for the moment. Obviously, we will have to wait and see on that, but there's been lots of Easter eggs that have been pointing to the fact that you could see Zelda coming into the parks here. But I think looking at this ride system here, like, first off, this looks like a lot of fun. Like, it's almost like a whitewater rafting. You go through some waters here, you come out of it. This ride system currently does have an elevator drop as well. So I feel like if you're going to do a Creature from the Black Lagoon type of ride, it fits very well into A, I think people want that, and B, I think it also fits for needing a water ride in this park. And I guess the big question would be, would it be outdoors or indoors? I think if you're going to do an outdoor water attraction, you would need to add some other indoor attractions first to try and balance this park out a bit, because currently as it stands, when it does rain or inclement weather comes in, you only have about 4 rides that are available in the park. So obviously that is one of the first things I think they need to do is have more indoor attractions to be able to alleviate that. And Mack Rides is a company that, Universal likes to work with. They use Intamin a lot for their coasters. Mack Rides did do Stardust Racers, but it seems like when it comes to the coaster side of things, Universal's kind of choosing to work with Intamin a lot, especially when you look at what's coming for the replacement of Rip Ride Rocket. That's going to be an Intamin coaster. Hagrid's is an Intamin coaster. Velocicoaster is. Hiccup's Wing Gliders is. So they definitely like their Intamin coasters, but doing a ride like this, sort of a hybrid ride, and this would be kind of the first in Orlando of this hybrid system here where it's a water ride, but it's also a coaster. I guess the question would also be, when would they do this? Like, where in the pecking order is Dark Universe when it comes to adding new attractions? Obviously, we talked about, Super Nintendo World. I think after that, you would look at Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, as you only have one ride in there and a show. I think that land definitely could use another ride in there to help balance it out. So potentially Dark Universe would be number 3 in the pecking order, but it's something you could see be announced and coming to Epic Universe within, I think for sure you're talking about expansions coming to Epic Universe within the decade undoubtedly, but you're talking within the next 5 years potentially, as Universal has said that they are already working on expansions, and obviously in that other article they're already talking about things that they will expand with this park. So as it goes with Universal, I think they're going to, again, continue to be very, very aggressive this next decade. And I think adding more things into Epic Universe is higher up on the priority list than some people think, due to the fact that, currently we're seeing they don't have this park capacity where they want it yet, these high wait times here. So obviously there's a lot of demand for this park, but needing more things for people to do in this park, I do think will help it out, especially being able to get it to 40, 50,000 guests in this park. Now, will they be able to hit that number before adding attractions in here or more attractions? We'll have to wait and see on that, as they're still working out these issues, getting this park ironed out, running more efficiently. But I think when you're talking about potential expansions, I feel like you could really fit this into Darkmoor, kind of a spooky water ride. Now, if this was indoors, you could make it really kind of scary, kind of like a Monsters Unchained, but in a water type of setting here with the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And it also fits into the story of Darkmoor, because in Monsters Unchained, they do say when you encounter the Creature from the Black Lagoon, they do say he's gotten loose. So it would make sense that you go in there, he's loose from what happens in Monsters Unchained, and he ends up in the waters here around Darkmoor. Could be the potential story there. And I just think, given the spooky elements of Dark Universe, the theming in there, this could really work well in adding into what Dark Universe has to offer. So personally speaking, I would be completely on board with this ride. I think it's a very unique looking thing, and I would love to see a Darkmoor setting with this, with the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And especially like if it is an outdoor ride at night, you could do some really cool effects here with the lighting and make it even spookier. You could have fog over the water. Like, there's a lot of things you could do here to make this work for Darkmoor, for the Creature from the Black Lagoon. Whether or not it's Jaws, whether or not it's Creature from the Black Lagoon, I do feel like there's a lot of smoke here, as this ride system may make its way to Universal. How it will be implemented will be very interesting. And if it had to be my vote, personally speaking, I almost feel like this is tailor-made for Creature from the Black Lagoon, an extension off of the Darkmoor Manor. I think that would be a very cool experience to see come to Universal Studios. But of course, we'll have to wait and see if that happens and what they announce and how aggressive they're going to be, which I think they're going to be very aggressive. But we will wait and see how all this unfolds. But either way, that's going to be it though for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Universal Studios, Epic Universe, Disney World, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, what do you think about this ride system and potentially coming to Epic Universe as a Creature from the Black Lagoon ride? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.